Yeah. Deep-rooted conversations, real talk, real roots, real us, slows. Soft rain, no middleman between the truth. I can see it in your eyes, you got it. Pain got your heart moving cautious. Different worlds but the same kind of scars here. Different roads but somehow we still crossed it. Mad cause the world never listened right. Mad cause your truth always turns.
Disclaimer: this broadcast is intended for commentary, discussion, and entertainment purposes only. All topics and statements are based on publicly available information, including news reports, social media content, and third-party sources, which may include allegations or unverified claims. The views expressed are opinions and should not be interpreted as confirmed facts. This content is not intended to harm, defame, misrepresent any individual, organization, or entity. Viewer discretion is advised.
Do we really want truth? Everybody screaming truth, but truth don't pick a side. Truth don't care about your feelings. Truth don't need a narrative, so the question ain't, can we handle the truth? The question is, do we really want it? Do we really want truth? Or a story that fits? Do we really want proof? Or somebody to convict? Everybody got a source, everybody got a side, but when emotions lead the way, tell me, where do facts hide? Do we really want truth? Tell me what you know. Not what somebody said, not what somebody posted. If the evidence changes, can your opinion change too? Cause truth don't belong to me, and truth don't belong to you. Nolan's name in the headlines, everybody got a theory. One clear beat comes a verdict, when nobody's seeing clearly. Race into the room, now the temperature changed. Same evidence on the table, but the story rearranged. One source says this, another source says that. Screenshots hit the timeline, and suddenly they're facts. Everybody wants justice, understand the emotion, but justice without evidence is just another commotion. Slow down, what do we know? What's confirmed? What's assumed? Who's providing information? And what happens when it's wrong? Because asking hard questions doesn't mean you don't care. Sometimes caring about the truth means you're willing to go there. Do we really want truth? Or a story that fits? Do we really want proof? Or somebody to convict? Everybody got a source, everybody got a side. When emotions lead the way, tell me, where do facts hide? Tonight, don't bring me your side, bring me your source. Don't tell me what you heard, tell me what you can prove. And if tomorrow's evidence proves what you believe today was wrong, will you change your mind? Same soil, different roots, different perspectives. Same pursuit before we choose a side. Before we decide who's wrong or right, let's find the facts. Because maybe the problem isn't that truth is hidden.
Yeah, so everybody says they want the truth, but I think tonight we need to ask a harder question. Do we really? Because Nolan Wells' case is no longer just a conversation about what happened to Nolan Wells. It's become a battle over narratives, race, politics, personal agendas, social media theories, anonymous sources, screenshots, leaked conversations, people choosing sides before all the evidence is even on the table. And somewhere in all that noise, Nolan can become secondary to the story being told about Nolan. So tonight on Same Soil, Different Roots, we're not asking you to agree with us. We're asking everyone, including ourselves, to do something much harder. Separate what we know from what we believe. Separate evidence from speculation. Separate emotion from conclusion. Because compassion and facts don't have to be enemies. You can care deeply about Nolan, about his family, demand answers, and still refuse to turn an allegation into a fact simply because it supports the narrative you already believe. So tonight, we're opening up the floor. If you disagree with us, the link will be available. If you have information, make sure you bring the source. And if you have a different perspectives, bring the argument because we're going to keep coming back to one question. What can we actually prove? Because if new evidence changes the story, we should be willing to change our position. Otherwise, we're not searching for truth. We're searching for confirmation. So, welcome to Same Soil, Different Roots Town Hall number 3. Nolan Wells, are the facts getting lost in the noise? And more importantly, do we really want the truth?
Do we really want truth? Everybody screaming truth.
I want to talk about our sheriff, John Ledbetter, and how I met him, how I came to know him. Was our former sheriff, Mike Ezell, who's now our sitting congressman. This is Mike Ezell. He was a former sheriff down here. Now he's one of Mississippi state representatives in Washington, D.C. He's a congressman now. Right. I guess it's safe to call you a congressman now.
Yeah, it's safe to call me a congressman.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You think? But here's what happens. When people come here, they never leave because Hollywood has painted this bad picture to the whole world that black people and white folks still out here fighting and killing each other and racism. We ain't doing that. Let me tell you what's going on.
That's right.
Whites are killing whites and blacks are killing blacks. Ain't no whites and black folks down here killing each other.
If it was not about race.
Exactly.
About, probably usually over alcohol or something
and drugs.
Like that. And drugs.
Facts. He introduced me to our current sheriff, Ledbetter. And I heard the governor speaking about how he knew Ledbetter. And I know the governor. The governor had me, and he wanted to speak with 10 influential black guys in the state of Mississippi to see what we can come up with to get a better black turnout at the voting polls. So we met in a secure location. So that's how I came to know personally the governor. And me and Mike Ezell, we've been friends for quite a while. And the sheriff. So I want to speak about our sheriff. Okay, people saying, did he speak prematurely when saying that no foul play with Nolan? Well, here's the case. At the time, that was all he had to go off of. It looked like a drowning. When they found his body, it was early on in the investigation. You just think it was drowning. But here's what happened. His mother started asking questions about what happened to my son. Well, when that happened, mom was the word. Nobody was answering any of her questions. They couldn't answer them. They wasn't giving her any answers. And then she heard they lawyered up. Well, that sparked suspicion in her mind. Why are you lawyering up? My son just drowned while y'all was out here. Tell me what the story was. And now, a drowning man reached for a straw. And Ben Crump is her straw right now. She's reaching to find any type of answers. That's all that was. And even though I'm not a Ben Crump fan and how he went about coming down here doing that, saying race first, I didn't agree with that at all. A lot of people is talking about Nolan's parents, but I don't believe any of this would have happened had she gotten some answers when she first started asking for them. But when you start avoiding it, it looks a little suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of it would have continued to just be a local case, a local investigation. It would have never went national. It's a lot of things that us locals knew about and heard about that I wasn't about to speak on because I didn't feel it was my place to speak on it. Like the things that y'all heard on the autopsy, I had already heard the autopsy the day before. And some certain things coming out in the news. We've been heard those things. I found out about those things the second day after this all happened. If the judge or anybody else aided in any type of criminal behavior here and helping anybody hide, the FBI is investigating this. They don't have no problem with handcuffing a sitting judge. Trust me, they don't. Sheriff Ledbetter, uh, Mikey Zell, I know them guys, and I'm telling you right now, if there's foul play, they don't have no problem with putting handcuffs on you. And Mikey Zell is not the sheriff anymore, so he won't be responsible for that. He's up on Capitol Hill, Washington D.C. now as a congressman. But I'm telling you right now, man, them guys will most definitely, with this DA we got, that woman, they are searching for answers. I'm telling you that right now.
You made it.
So there you have it. There you have Cutting with E is his name. If you want to follow him on his platforms, we are going to be talking about him in our first segment of the town hall tonight with him and Don Lemon. But I want to kind of start it off with a little icebreaker. What did you think about what you just heard, Rain?
I mean, he made a lot of sense. You saw me shaking my head um, through some of what he was speaking about. Initially, if Christine was satisfied with and given an answer to how her son actually passed, and the situation surrounding his passing, this would not have been a national issue. I think that once the pictures got out, um, of course, we as a public made it a race issue because of the narrative that got spewed. One black boy around three, one black young man around three white young men. So that narrative got spewed all over because of the image that it portrays. Of course, Mississippi is notorious for racial things that go on down there, and has been the history, of course. Um, but I as a mother, I agree with him when he said that if and I understand that an investigation needed to happen, but if they were more forthcoming and transparent with her, I don't think it would have gotten this far. I really don't. I've been saying this since the beginning. I think Mississippi has drugged their feet. I understand time is needed for things. I understand that there's a process and everything. I understand that. But with that being said, some of the things Christine has said, like she did reach out to the sheriff's department, and were not transparent with her. They were not forthcoming with information. So as a mother, I'm going to start searching myself. If I can't get what I need from the law enforcement, I'm going to start asking questions myself and start searching for answers myself. If you're not aiding me and I'm not satisfied to that extent, then that's what I'm going to start doing. So,
Definitely, definitely understand, and
mm,
I definitely agree with you. Want to welcome in Valerie. Valerie says she lives on the Gulf Coast as well. So thank you, ma'am, for coming in. Joanne Roberts, we appreciate your opinion regardless how upset you may be. This is what the town hall is for.
yeah.
So we want to hear everybody's truth. We're not here to debate. We're not here to argue. Everybody can have their own form of right. We're just here to bring up the facts, talk about everything. But hey, everybody has the right to be upset as well. Um, the biggest thing we're trying to do on our town halls is not create new narratives that get people more confused, but to
Mhm.
create a balance in the conversation.
Yeah.
Because that gentleman said something. His real name is Emmanuel. Emmanuel said something very important that I think a lot of people was missing, right? And I know me and Rain talk about this all the time, and I said it at the very beginning. The sheriff didn't jump the gun; he gave you the information he had. That was
Mm.
that was nothing. everybody was so emotional about the event that we then put our emotions into the response that we received instead of just saying, hey, right now with what we see, there is no there is no evidence that says there's foul play. It's all about how you want to take it. We all can feel that it's suspicious there. We all can be upset and angry, but his
Mhm.
words were no different than what we're getting every day, right? Every day we're still getting everybody's emotional narratives, but nobody's getting anything new. Nobody, and we're not going to get anything new. From this point forward, with the grand jury coming into place, we're not going to hear anything from Mississippi. You're not going to hear anything new. So you can
Mhm.
be upset, you can be frustrated, but the biggest thing is you know where you are now. Like we're of course we're going to get leaks, we're going to get information, uh, and everybody's now asking about evidence, things of that nature. You're not going to see it. That's why they chose to go to the grand jury. And we broke that down on our first town hall as well, just the difference between a grand jury and things of that nature. I would
Mhm.
highly suggest people go actually look up what is accomplished in a grand jury, because I think it'll help you better understand what's going on. But we also want to bring you guys different forms of communication of who's talking about this. You got people who are from Mississippi who are speaking on their own experiences in Mississippi. I
Yeah.
think those people experiences mean more than our experiences, right? It means more than the history that we're reading off every day about Mississippi. These people live there. And if you can't take their word at that point, it's no one who's going to make you feel any different anyway. So shout out to everybody who's here. Shout out to Plug for coming in the building.
Hey, Pug.
Shout out to Jen. Shout out to Tom. Shout out to Mariel. Shout out to
Mhm.
Valerie. Shout out to I think it was Miss. I don't want to say her name wrong. Was it Miss Robinson? Uh, some
Lisa
I think that's who it was. But shout out to everyone.
Roberts
Um, Roberts. Yeah. So shout
Mhm.
out to her as well.
and Miles said
Yeah.
evening. Yeah.
What's up? What's up, Miles? What's up, Miles?
Mhm.
And like I said, everybody's emotions are. I understand. I understand how people can feel a
Oh
certain
yeah.
way. Definitely can feel a certain way. So we appreciate you guys. We just wanted to open up with that narrative from Emmanuel. So just a lot there. We're not going to be able to read all the chats, guys, but
Mhm.
we are going to put them on the screen. We highly encourage anyone who would like to come up. If you let us know, we are available to drop the link for each segment that we're doing. We can give you 2 minutes to speak how you feel about the situation, and then we'll move on. Again, myself and Rain are not here to debate, argue, or try to convince you any other way, but we do want to put information out there. So
I will say this. What Emmanuel sees in Mississippi is gonna be different. Everybody's view is gonna be different. Just like my hometown, I'll see it different than the outsider sees it. The outsider is gonna see or maybe even know what history may have gone down. The person that's from that town who lives in that town every day is gonna have a different point of view of how their city operates, of how people move around in their city, of how crime ridden it may be or how racial it may be, So my point of view of my city is going to be different from an outsider's point of view of my city and what they see as well. I just wanted to put that just came to my head. I wanted to put that out there. Yeah.
yeah, and shout out to I don't want to say your name incorrect. I think it's Culinay or
Clonate, yeah.
Culinay Michelle. Shout
Mhm.
out to you from the DMV. That's where I retired yet a couple years ago in the DMV. So shout out to you,
Mhm.
ma'am. Um, and then let's see here. She said the sheriff did jump the gun, saying it was a drowned. Okay. Um, Plug said that Blackity Blacks think we aren't concerned about the conversation because we need more facts to create an argument. Uh,
Mhm.
they said I've been keeping up from the beginning, and this is just so sad. How is no person that was out there said anything to say?
I have
Um,
I've said that from day one.
Yeah, but again, I think Lynette said something very important as well
Mm,
with the grand jury. Of course, I said this from the get go for those who have been following us on here or no middleman. I told everybody the worst thing to ever happen was the grand jury because everything we're saying in the chat tonight could actually be untrue. You
yeah,
won't know if somebody came forward anymore. You won't know if somebody's telling their side of the story. We don't know now if somebody's actually said they seen him drown or they seen him at a location at this. We won't know that until now it goes to trial.
yeah.
That's why I was telling people like education, knowledge is power because grand jury kind of said it in a manner, right? He said it like it could be a magnificent cover up. And I feel like, hey, that could have some validity because that's what a grand jury ultimately does for people, right? Somebody can already have come with the truth, but they already asked for immunity, or they already asked for like I don't think we understand like that process of the grand jury actually makes this even more tainted, depending on how you feel about the whole situation. So, just something to really think about. But again, man, we're here just to bring the information from different standpoints, different perspectives.
Mm,
I don't know if you guys have noticed that this conversation has pretty much left Nolan Wells, and now you have people like DL Hughley and Officer Tatum going back and forth at each other. None of that stuff matters in the loss of Nolan Wells' life.
it
So it's
does.
almost like why are we talking about things that have no no just no, it's not it doesn't have any it doesn't have anything to do with the case, and we want to talk about things that have something to do with the case. And I think it's very unique too that we're going to talk about it later, but everybody who comes out and say they now know the Wells family, once it sounds like once they hear what they don't want to hear, they don't know them,
Or they're not really that close.
or they're not really that close. But then
Yeah.
these people are giving very detailed information. Emmanuel cuts his hair. He knew his dad. He knew the sports. Like these people know so many details about these families, but then it's like we don't want to take. So it's to me, it's very unique.
Mhm.
Kane said your view is also based on some of your experience. That's facts. That's
Yeah.
facts. That's fact. That's facts. Plus, so they want to pull out Ninja Car because we try to create dialogue instead of. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, Penny? What's up, Penny? Jimmy can't wait to hear. She said, I've been watching. Yeah, yeah. My spouse served 30 years at DC. Is that the DC Metropolitan Police? I understand law enforcement to seeing a lot from both ends. Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
We appreciate your experiences too. We appreciate you guys tonight.
yeah.
Plus, said my clients from Mississippi said none of their families have no information whatsoever, and they are right there. That's why I feel like it's a cover up. I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Thank you to Jesus Disciple. Kane said, well, the attack that the parents are making on Wells' legal counsel is highly problematic. She said, yes. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, we appreciate y'all tonight. We appreciate y'all being up late with us tonight, being up late with us. Penny said everybody trying to make their, yep. That's the conversation nobody wants to have, Penny.
Yeah.
That's why the town halls won't be as exciting to people who are looking for race, or we're here to bring you information that people are bringing. You can build your own conclusion off of it. We're not here to create something for you. But I really feel that if we listen more, thank you. Clinic, oh my God, thank you. We try. We try.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like you had, but Clinet, I came from the hood. I grew up in a very violent town of Shreveport, Louisiana. And I know you from the DMV. I was living there for 5 years, so I get it. When you seen a lot, it changes the way you react to things. I take emotions out of everything. Everything needs to be black and white, facts based. And if it doesn't make common sense to me, I can't really understand. That's why, like, even though people might feel a certain way about the sheriff, the man made a 24-hour call. And he might say some words wrong, but we still have nothing new from this day forward.
No.
So how can we really hold somebody to the fire the whole time where you still haven't got any new evidence? Like, we haven't gotten anybody saying that, no, this is clearly foul play or this is that. It is what it is, right? We're just trying to take what we got. She said, yes, remove the energy. Yeah, you got to. So, but we want to give you guys our first segment of the town hall. We appreciate y'all for real tonight. I know it's late, so we appreciate y'all. So the first topic in the town hall is going to go over to, again, more of Emmanuel. His name is Cutting with E. If you want to follow him, he actually has a lot of good shorts and content on his YouTube page. I don't want to take away from his page. He does have a lot of information. His name is scrolling at the bottom on this as well. So we're going over to Don Lemon, and this is actually the first interaction that they had together when he came up to Don Lemon's show. So we're going to play this, and then we're going to discuss this.
I wish I'd met this next gentleman under better circumstances, because I'm happy to meet him, but I understand the times that we're in and the circumstances in which we're speaking. And that was a gentleman that you were seeing before we went to our sponsored break. His name is Emmanuel Cuttenwith, and he has been doing videos on this on his social media, but also, I should say, he knows the people involved. He says he's known them for years, and that he gave Nolan his first haircut. He knows the family. So, Mr. Cuttenwith, welcome. Thank you for joining the Don Lemon Show this morning. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Hey, I'm glad to be here with you. Just to clarify something, the Cutting With, that's my social media name, Cutting With E. So you could, my first name is Emmanuel, but that's my social media, Cutting With E on YouTube and IG and Facebook and all of that. But I appreciate you guys having me on, man.
So talk to me about, thank you for clarifying that, but we want to make sure that you get people know who you are, that they are on your social media and they watch because you have some good stuff. And also, if they're there, that they, give you some business. I think that's fair, especially in this environment that we're in. So talk to me, Emmanuel, how do you know Nolan? Let's start with how you know Nolan Wells and his family.
Okay, well, I've been knowing his mom since she was like in high school and whatnot, but I can't, and his stepfather, we still work out in the same gym together right now. And I came to know Nolan through his, she had this lady babysitting, and I'm real good friends with her son, Bingo. And they would bring him around, bring him to my barbershop all the time. And I gave him his first haircut. And we used to have him to say, every time he would leave, we would say, "What's your name?" And he would say, "Nolan Wells." And we all used to laugh at it. We used to make him say his name every single time, man. He was a funny little kid, man. That was what was up, though. But yeah, that's how I came to first know him,
Yeah. And over the years, you watched him grow up?
Yeah, I watched him grow. I didn't see him for a period of time. And then he became a football player. And I used to go to his games and watch him play all the time. And, and his dad was a football player as well out of Morris Point. He went up to Mississippi State. And so I knew he was going to be a stellar athlete. You know what I'm saying? His dad working with him every day the way he was, everybody that come through his dad's training and stuff like that, all be pretty good athletes, And Nolan was no difference. He was good. He was a great athlete. Had NFL potential, man. Had the right size and everything.
Yeah. So what is it like there? Wait, hold on. Before I get there, do you know the other kids involved? Do you know some of the friends?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead. How do you know them?
Well, with the recent ones that was on like TMZ, I spoke with him Friday night. I know one of the white guys and one of the pitchers, where it's quite a few of them, not one of the three on the boat. They were all in a collective group there. And me and his father, we're very good friends. We get up and have lunch about 2 or 3 times a week currently. Listen, man, I want to say this to you. I know it's probably not following your questionnaires, but that is a problem that we're having here. There's a lot of blacks right along with a lot of whites that are having this problem. When Ben Crump and Al Sharpton came to our state, I think one thing they did wrong was you can't come down here and start saying that our state is prejudiced. This is prejudiced place. This is the state that lynched and killed Emmett Till. Well, that was 71 years ago. And Emmett Till was killed for looking and whistling at a white woman. These days, it's so many blacks having babies with white people. White men are marrying black women down here. We have so many sandy brown haired mixed babies running around down here. We are a gumbo down here. And another thing, Don, is we are a military community. That's how we got here. My dad is originally from Louisiana and my mom's New Orleans. And my dad was military. That's how I got here, through Keishler. And so we have Navy bases here and Air Force bases here. That's what we are. and it's a gumbo. Everybody, white people try their best to not ruffle the feathers of black people, and black people try their best not to ruffle the feathers of white people for the majority of it. So when Ben Crump come to this town and start saying things like that, he's alienating these people and he's getting pushback now. That's why he's getting all this pushback. And it's going to me, it's hurting the whole entire investigation, which is why he's probably not getting a lot of help from people. To me, that's the deal. You cannot come in here and tell us how racist we are. Well, these people showing you how they hate you doing that type of stuff in our community, and he's going to get this type of pushback that he's getting.
Okay, can I jump in here?
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, look, I'm from Louisiana, so I know there's lots of mix. I mean, we are all, that's what Creole and mulattoes about. We've been mixing it up. We invented mixing it up in Louisiana, so I understand what you're saying. But that doesn't end racism. Sometimes it heightens it, right? Because then there's a hierarchy, and then there's colorism, and then people say, well, I can't be racist because I'm married to a white person or whatever, or I'm married to a black person, and we know that that's not true. The other thing that sounds like, though, and I just want to put this here, I'm not trying to insult you, is like, it kind of sounds like back in the civil rights movement when people would say, these outside agitators are coming here and telling us what to do, and we don't want race mixing here. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I understand how people may feel, but sometimes, I just want you to take this into account. Sometimes it takes, and I'm not saying they're doing this, but just to think about this, sometimes it takes someone who comes from the outside to hold up a mirror so that you can see what's happening, because sometimes you're too close for the forest to see the trees. All right.
Okay.
But so I'm not saying that doesn't exist, that people shouldn't feel that way, but I think that people should have an open mind about it, because that's what civil rights leaders did back in the day.
Well,
okay, go on.
I'm for them coming to find justice, but you cannot walk into this town claiming it's racism, all these same state that killed Emmett Till, these racist white people. When that eulogy, I was at the funeral. That eulogy had to be, and just so I'll set it up, you can see this is his obituary. So that eulogy had to be the hardest eulogy for Al Sharpton. When you walked in this church and you saw 30% of the church is white. These are his friends. These are all the people he hang out with. Here's what I'm saying, Don. It's like in this generation, it's like we're still charging cases like we're in the 60s when something happens here. I'm not saying a white man did not kill Nolan. What I'm saying is,
well, we don't know that. I'm not going there.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm saying it could be over something else. It may be over a girl. Why does race have to lead every time? Why are we leading this investigation with race? Because that's where you're upsetting everybody. And it's when you're saying race, when he's been hanging with them same white guys all his life. And
I have an explanation for you about why, possibly. Because when the photographs came out initially, it was just Nolan with all white people. Right. And he's and so the world, this is not just Ben Crump. The family asked Ben Crump to come in. It's not like he volunteered to do this. OK, so, and not that I'm defending Ben Crump. I'm just sort of explaining to you why people think race is involved, or why it's involved. First of all, let's just be honest, Emmanuel. We know the history of the country. We do know the history of Mississippi. And one of the best indicators of what the present is and possibly the future is the history, right, of something, the history of your medical thing. You heard Al Sharpton say that at the funeral. When you go into the doctor and you say,
so I'm going to stop it here first, because I see Rain, wheels are turning. I want to allow you the opportunity to express so we don't get too far into the segment. So go ahead.
I was on mute. Myself, coming from a military town, there is a lot of different race mixes, and exactly what he said. I agree with him on a lot of things that he said. We can't negate the fact that Emmett Till happened in Mississippi. Okay, we can't do that. It did, but it's not happening today. It hasn't happened today that I know of. That was before my time. You can't put blame on somebody that has done nothing to you. Not trying to say any of this didn't happen, or there's still racism. It's going to be all over this world. And what people don't know too, and I know this is besides what we were talking about, even in other countries where you have like Afro Latinos and you have Afro Englanders and whatnot, they go through the same thing that we go through not necessarily the same thing that we go through here in the States, but their skin color determines some things. Sometimes you still have those racial matters all over the world, not just the United States. And here, I think that E is trying to say that, and what I said in the first segment was my point of view is different than y'all's outsiders. Y'all are putting a narrative on Mississippi based off its history. Yes, things can evolve, things can move forward. We don't have to necessarily live in the past every day, you know. But also, what I didn't like, I'm normally, neutral when it comes to Don Lemon, but it's like he was trying to push the race narrative so hard on E when E wasn't pushing the race narrative. He really wants to know what happened to Nolan. He wants to explain that white folks are hanging out with black folks hanging out with white folks, and there's a good mixture down there because of these military towns that are near where they are. When you have military towns near where you are, I'm in one every day, you got that mix of of races, of races, not ist, races, different ethnicities, so it's like a melting pot. Does racism happen still? Absolutely. Absolutely it does. But I think in Nolan's Wells situation, that picture is what took it over the edge. That picture that you see right there is what took it over the edge. The first thing somebody thought was, hanging around with a bunch of white folks. It's gotta be racial. It's gotta be racial. All them white boys, they ended Nolan's life.
But I would have to push back on you though, right?
Mhm.
Because I don't and I even heard Don Lemon say, and I think that's the problem with the world. He
Mhm.
kept saying everyone. No, because Souls never said that.
Mhm.
No, because Emmanuel never said that.
No, yeah,
No, even the person everybody hates named Officer Tatum never said that.
right.
It's the people who are focusing on the race is just louder. They're more they're more theatrical. They're cool to click on YouTube because they're going to give you all this blackity black talk and like that's what everybody wants to click on. But it's
Yeah.
a lot of us out here like myself who are like, hey, how about we just wait? How about we just use some common sense here? How about we just not think everything has to be about this one topic that we want it to be about? Because I think I asked you this either today or earlier in the week, Rain. I said, what if the outcome is not what we want it to be? And when I say we, I mean African Americans. What if it's not what
Mhm.
the black community wants it to be? How are you going to move forward when you have prepared yourself to think one way?
Yeah.
You're not benefiting the family, you're not benefiting the world, you're not benefiting society. And then what are you going to talk about on your YouTube channel afterwards?
You know, I think for the majority of the public who have invested time into doing their own investigation, trying to put together the facts, on YouTube, or even if it's just somebody, Jane Dobie over here, just like, oh, let me read this article. Oh no, he didn't drown. Oh, read this article. Oh, maybe he did drown, So I think even if at the end of the day they come back and say, yes, there was water in his lungs. Yes, he actually drowned. I still think the public who is doing their I don't even know the word to say, who's doing their own little, investigation themselves, trying to nitpick these different things that are going on. I still think if that comes out, that they will not be satisfied. There's going to be somebody somewhere going to still want to dig deeper to try to figure out what actually happened. In my heart, and I'm saying this is an emotional thought right now. I just wish somebody will come forward, and maybe somebody already has. See, we don't know this. Maybe somebody already has, and they just have not disclosed it to the public. But I wish somebody who did see him for the last time would say, "Hey, this is exactly what happened." And I pray that at the end of all of this, I just want the family to have closure.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're gonna have true closure unless they know exactly what happened. It's gonna be hard, and that in like missing person cases and other cases where you don't really know how that person passed, or that person goes missing, or however, or they perish under you whatever circumstances, you don't even know how they passed away. That is so hard for families, not knowing exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So
And I do want to answer Penny's question. I don't think there's ever been a fair trial in any state.
mm,
And the reason why I say that is because life isn't fair.
mm,
Even when a person is found guilty and some people are happy, there's still another 800 million people in another room who are disappointed about the outcome. Like, I think we have to be very careful with our words. The world isn't fair. And I
mm,
and I, and I think that's where we're getting lost today, right? I think we're getting lost in everybody wants you to say something to make them feel better. Like how Rain has to continue to sit here and tell you guys that she know racism still exists. We shouldn't even have to say that when posing a conversation. We
yeah,
shouldn't have to state the obvious all the time, right? People get mad at me when I say anything. Oh, I'm a black man. Why you got to say you're black? Well, sometimes you got to make things very obvious to people because we live in a world where we pick and choose when we really want to know what's the real and what's not. We pick it. And I feel like that's really has been the issue with society. Like, we can't just have a conversation. Everybody wants to pick apart everything you're saying instead of just saying, hey, I don't agree with that. I agree with that. And we move on. Because at the end of the day, if you are not neutral in this case, you're going out for you have something you're trying to gain. Because right now we all have the same evidence and none of it leads to any proof of what happened.
no.
So at the end of the day, if you take everything you heard away, we all have the same answer. We don't know. So at that point, how can you push a narrative when at the end of the day the answer is we don't know? And I don't think no one in the world has ever had a fair trial. Fair? No. I don't think it exists, not even just in Mississippi, just in general. I don't think no one has a fair trial. They even start like we even accept the words that you should have people that are your peers or those people don't know me
Yeah,
if I go commit a crime. Just because they my race, that don't mean they know me.
yeah,
Half of y'all black people call me a coon and Uncle Tom anyway. So why would I want you sitting on my case? Are you really going to benefit me? Like, I mean, we got to be realistic here. Like that. So these are the conversations that I think we are starting to really draw from this whole thing. I think people are really learning a lot about each other throughout the tragedies that are continuing to happen in the world. And just something we got to really think about. You know what I mean? Penny said, well, in a world that entertains the fantasy of being colorblind, it's hard to not speak from a fundamental level to establish facts of black and white even exist. Yeah, but Penny, everybody don't want you to say that. Why you got to say you're black? Why you got to say that what? We hear it all the time. So, but I respect it, man. I appreciate you, Penny, because you always like to have a conversation. I like
mm,
people who like to have a conversation. We don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree. But at the end
yeah,
of the day, it's about a conversation. We have become the most emotional creatures in America, dog. America in a country where you have all these glamorous things, we have become so overly emotional. It's like we live in a world of mental health all day. And if you don't see it my way, you this. If you don't see, like, man, just hey, the facts are the facts. Facts over feelings. I started my YouTube journey with that same quote. Facts over feelings. I've been saying it for years now. It's facts over feelings, period, point blank. So
And I think too, just as E has his view on Mississippi as a melting pot, and there's really not that much racism going around, and there's a mixing, you are gonna have people who are gonna say, no, this is the most racist, place in Mississippi. Ocean Springs is the most racist place in Mississippi, and you know, so you're gonna have those people with those different views about Ocean Springs or where they're located as well. So yeah.
This hurts, or I have this ailment, and they go, what medication are you taking? What's your family's medical history? Okay, so you have that history in Mississippi. Not everybody lives in Mississippi. And so the people who are on the internet, the people who don't live in Mississippi, they see a black guy with all white guys and they go, oh, he's the only one that didn't come home. The history of Mississippi, blah, blah, blah. So people start putting two and two together, and that's why race is involved in this, because that is the history of America. Now, whether race played a role in his demise, no one knows it. No one knows that, but there is no denying that race plays a part in this case simply because of the optics. That's where the race part came in. That may be offensive to some people there, but the truth is often offensive. That is the reality in America. Yeah, yes, sir. You can ask me. We're here to have a conversation.
Okay. When Emmett Till was killed in 1955, I believe it was, he died for whistling and simply looking at a white woman. Now, we have went from there to making babies with these white women. When does that go out of the window for, as this racial component of Mississippi history years ago? How can we accept that history when it comes to?
You can accept it by acknowledging the problem. You accept it by acknowledging the problem and acknowledging the reality of the history of the country. You accept it by saying, I understand why people think race is involved. I understand why. Right.
I understand.
You see what I mean? Don Lemon is now trying to tell him what he should be saying. But Emmanuel was like, I do understand. Like, just because we shouldn't have to speak everything. Like for somebody to feel like racism doesn't exist, that's just ignorance. Just like prejudice exists too. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's crazy. And then it coming from a black dude who's married to a white man. Like it's like we're not even taking in consideration who also is the messenger of all this. He's like it's just. That's why I feel like it's better to be neutral and keep things fact-based, because then people can't try to turn things on you on how you're living your life. No, it's just facts. I'm just giving you the facts. You can judge me if you like, but I'm giving you the facts that I'm hearing and providing you every day. Sco said, I'm just saying, if the state not there, none of this stuff happens. Just leave Tennessee and New Orleans and Georgia, and the rest of the South has to go. Golly, not even Louisiana? Golly, let's go keep my hometown. Let me get my family to safe haven first.
I understand why people do it, but what I'm saying is it a fair assessment for us?
Of course, it's a fair assessment.
We have nothing but a bunch of nothing but mixed kids running around down here.
But just because you have mixed kids, it doesn't mean that you're not racist.
But Don, nobody's dying now. Back then, they died for looking at her. Now we're sleeping with them and having kids, and nobody's dying.
One thing. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Emmanuel. Do you know why Nolan died, or how?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right.
So I'm for an investigation. That's why I said I'm for Al and them coming here and investigating. But Don, what I'm saying is, I don't think he should have led with this strong racial. The same people killed Emmett Till, and I mean that was almost 100 years ago. And we're now sleeping with white women, and white men are now sleeping with black women, creating babies with these people. Man, I mean,
but that doesn't mean that racism. I think that your idea of what racism isn't necessarily calling people the N-word or beating them up. It is a system that is based on superiority and history and presence of a different ethnicity or a different background. They still have not dealt with racial issues. And sometimes, sometimes the love for all right, especially of a certain generation, it's the same sort of love that you have for a pet, where you are.
And we love you too, Rosa. We hope that you sleep well tonight. We hope that you just really have a better night. Hopefully you wake up on the better side of the bed tomorrow, and Godspeed, okay? Guys, y'all can keep everybody in the chat. Everybody is welcome to their full opinion. Valerie said, I'm from South Florida. I don't know why it's doing this again on StreamYard. It's that delay. Let's see here. So I'm gonna let this play.
It's serious, where you love them, you protect them, you pay for everything, but it doesn't mean it's the same love that you have for a human being. It's kind of that, okay, I understand that. In America, the reason that we have this is because we don't deal in a fulsome way with race. We're not honest about it. And we think that racism is something where it is overt. It's not always overt. And there are people who came up through the civil rights movement and people who were discriminated against, they're still here. And the people who were part of the Klan, there's a huge Ku Klux Klan contingent in this country. There are people who are part of the Proud Boys who said that they're racist. There are people part of the new neo-Nazis. They say they are racist and they are open with it. So, and a lot of that comes from the South, from Louisiana where I am, and from Mississippi. And if you go there, if I can drive 5 minutes from where you are and find a person who's involved in one of those groups and a person who's in that community. So don't tell me that racism is stamped out in Mississippi and where you are because people are sleeping together. First of all, people have urges, and people used to sleep with each other on plantations.
Yeah, which is true.
I'm just saying, the master used to sleep with the people on the plantation, women and men.
Right. I mean, I was out. Here's what I want.
That's all about urge. That's a lot about urge, and you know, you need to get your freak on.
And what
I'm just saying some of that.
I think that's slightly different topic than what I was speaking of. Like this Saturday, I was out at dinner, man, and everybody in the restaurant was mixed. I mean, I see a black woman here with a Mexican guy. They got 2 kids, 16 and 17 years old. I mean,
of course that happens. I'm from the South. I've been saying that people in the South, black people and white people, integrate more than they do in the North. But that's mostly about socioeconomics. It doesn't mean that racism is solved. It's because basically those people who live together are the same part of the socioeconomic group. So if you are mostly middle class people and you have grown up there, you are going to pretty much be together in the same places. Right. But here in the North, it is about rich people who are all together. Most of them mainly are white because that's sort of, generational wealth. Most black people didn't have the opportunity to do that. But here in the North, it is more polarized than it is in the South. The South, I think, used to be segregated, but people are more polarized here in the North than they are in the South.
Now, I know you can speak on that better than most because you're from the South and you've been living all over. You've been living in the North. So I can understand.
Not only am I from the South and living in the North, my family just left here. And we had a long discussion about this and a long discussion about people who believe that racism is over or just because people are what they're called, there's race mixing. That's what the racists used to call it back. The people who are marrying interracial marriage, they think that racism is over because of that. And it's not. But it doesn't mean that it's as bad as back in Emmett Till.
Right.
We made
racist
progress.
People is going to always be with us. There's nothing you can do about that. That's why Jesus Christ of bled and died for that very same thing. Is because racist people are going to walk amongst you. But who really cares about the quiet racist? He's a racist and he's quiet and he don't say nothing about it. He over there. If he not bothering you, he can be racist over there. As long as he don't come and shove it down my throat, I don't care what he is over there, right? He's not affecting me. If he ain't affecting me.
You don't know that.
But
you don't know what that quiet racist is doing. You don't know who he's influencing.
So I'm going to stop there. If you guys would like, you can go back and watch the entire interview on Don Lemon's page as well. And I think also some other people have cut it up, like Officer Tatum, things of that nature. Penny said, we are so far from the facts of the case. Is crazy. I would rather guess about the audio recording more. Yeah, Penny. And that's the thing, right? Everybody who, I would say probably 90% of people that you are going to see discuss this aren't even talking about the facts.
No.
It's all how they feel about racism, how they feel about Mississippi, how they feel about the world today. Like no one's really wanting to have the conversation. They're just talking. And that's why, we try not to do it pretty much all week. We try to save it for our town hall here on the same soil, different routes. But a lot of people are just speaking. They're just speaking to continue to bring in money.
Yeah.
It's a money grab at this point. He said, no one, welcome in everyone as well. He said, internal sports debate league said, no one in the world think racism over. That's dumb. You'll be shocked. Somebody said, leaning on race again. We appreciate you guys. Good and positive. We appreciate you guys. Valerie said, their votes are not quiet. Mm-hmm. I can feel you on that. Welcome in said, prejudice is different from racism. We are very aware. Is that Mel Gillum?
Mel Gillum. Yeah.
Said, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall during the Wells family meeting today with the DA and the autopsy reveal.
I didn't even know that went down today.
Yeah, and I won't say, I'm not going to say it went down today because we haven't heard.
Yeah, I haven't
Like I
I
haven't
have not
heard, you know what I mean?
heard that
He,
went down
he
today.
said you got to learn the facts. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So,
Penny said, yeah, but the money has so much blood on it. They don't care, Penny. These people don't care about blood money, man. They all about getting that bag, man. If that's what it takes, that's what they gonna do. So you got anything on that, Rain, before we move to our town hall number 2?
I think Don was reaching, a little bit. He was trying to pull something out of E that, but he stood his ground and in his beliefs. So, um, some of Don's content I like, but some of it is questionable. So,
But you got to think about it this way. Once you start speaking about race, you're going to stretch.
oh yeah,
Because Nolan Wells has nothing to do with that at the moment.
Mm-mm.
So like everybody now is just talking about things that are creating more and more of a stretch. So we're going to see a lot of this today. Again, we're just bringing you guys information that we're receiving, and we're just breaking down that information that we're receiving. We're going to move on to our town hall number 2 topic, which is truth and transparency from Miss Sarah Fields. For those who aren't familiar with Miss Sarah Fields almost debunked the whole Carmelo Anthony case. She was pushing back on a lot of information that was being put out. She's more about transparency. Again, I noticed too that a lot of the facts that are coming out are coming from platforms that people don't like, or people might not feel that they like the person that is led by. And I think all those things eventually are strategies as well, right? The only way to keep division is to have your messenger not be who you want the messenger to be.
ooh,
So
that's a bar.
it
That's
is.
a bar.
I mean, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, right, you hated Jesus. Like if you don't believe in these things, you won't. So the facts are coming from people that majority of people don't like or don't want to hear from. But that's where a lot of the facts are coming from. I won't say truth. A lot of the facts are coming from, and not people sitting in their emotions. So we're gonna go over here to Jason Whitlock Harmony. Thank you. Thank you, Mel Gillum said, I'm like the gentleman. I prefer sticking to the facts, not what's that?
Speculation.
Yeah, so I'm the same way. So we're gonna go over here. We're gonna hear Miss Sarah talk a little bit about how this is also similar to some of the information that Ben Crump is normally known to give out. So here we go.
Because what you just described sounds very similar to the work you did on the Carmelo Anthony case. There's these flood of lies, and you just spent all day debunking them. And these cases have similar narratives in that regard.
They do. It's actually really heartbreaking. I refer to it as Carmelo Anthony 2.0. The only difference is that with Carmelo Anthony case, there was an actual murderer. And what's really sad is that I'm watching the same pattern with the same exact activists involved with this case. So it's the same exact people who targeted the witnesses who saw the murder of Austin Metcalf. And they're the same ones who targeted these witnesses, doxed these witnesses, tried to smear them and make up a bunch of lies, and tried to say that Carmelo was bullied and there was a fight and he was beaten. And, they targeted these witnesses relentlessly. And then in turn, of course, as you know, they targeted me for reporting the truth. And there was, race baiters such as Dominique Alexander and multiple other people that I'm actually in the process of civilly suing, suing in civil court now. So yes, but when this happened after July 4th, I saw the same exact people who were involved in the Carmelo Anthony case, the same exact race baiters and activists and social media commentators, whatever you want to call it, bad actors on social media, now go after the friends of Nolan Wells. And it's really heartbreaking to watch. It's really sad. And it's a pattern. It's the same thing. The only difference also, besides the fact that Carmelo Anthony has been convicted of murder, is that Ben Crump is involved in this case. He wouldn't touch Carmelo Anthony's case.
Oh, really?
So, Ben Crump was not involved in Carmelo
Anthony's. I know he
case.
wasn't involved, but are you sure he wouldn't have touched it? Because, Sarah, I know this probably isn't your lane, but maybe it is your lane, because I find it humorous. Dominique Alexander and Ben Crump, I think they scored identical scores on the IQ test, both in the low 60s. And
Likely.
That seems to be a common denominator. It's like, you got to find someone dumb enough to play the race card, and do it without a hint of evidence. You had it with Dominique Alexander in the Carmelo Anthony case, and now you have it with Ben Crump. I'm just wondering if Ben Crump wasn't given the opportunity to participate in the Carmelo Anthony stunt.
I don't know, because I think that if the Anthonys were given the opportunity to connect with Ben Crump, I think they 100% would have done it. I'm not sure that they were ever approached with an offer from Ben Crump. I never even, to my knowledge, I never even saw Ben Crump comment on this situation or case. So, but I mean, maybe he was acting behind the scenes. I don't know. But I have referred to Dominique Alexander as Ben Crump 2.0, or sorry, the Temu Ben Crump, because Dominique Alexander, yeah, he doesn't seem to be on quite the I don't know, the level of Ben Crump as far as, oh, I see a situation, I'm going to grift off of it, I'm going to race bait, I'm going to get as much money as I can, and then I'm going to poof, disappear and go off to the next case, which just seems to be his pattern so far.
I want to play just a little compilation of some of the threats that have been leveled, just so the audience is up to date about what we're talking about. Let's play that first shot, the threats against the Hudson family.
Justice for Noah Wells, son for his son. Justice for Noah Wells, son for a son. Justice for Noah Wells, son for a son. Justice for Noah Wells, son for a son.
Hello, am I speaking with Benjamin Hudson, mister?
Who is this?
You and your son gonna die, little bro. And your wife. For what y'all did. Yeah, no, answer the phone. You and your folks think y'all ass so smart, so slick, all this other dumb ass shit. Your son gonna get the worst of it. And he know it. He know it. Y'all ain't saving shit. Y'all can't say that little. Y'all can't say y'all but Gino, it coming. It real coming.
Don't try and run now, you bitch ass. Your son is a piece of shit, and he's about to get all the way f***ed up. Don't run now, you bitch. You's a punk ass fucker, just like your son. You fat. You, him. You guys are gonna get what the f***'s coming to you. I know he killed that little kid, man. You guys aren't shit. Your wife ain't shit. All you motherfucking racist pieces of shit. All you motherfuckers.
But I would find it hard to believe, except I have a Facebook account. And the things that people DM to me over Facebook that's attached to their real identity, it blows my mind. I mean, it's just like people are this type of stupid. Things that I get in my Instagram or whatever, it's like I would question, like, would someone really be this stupid?
Yes.
And yes, they would be. Yeah.
Yes. It's really, these people called with their actual numbers. And those voicemails that you just listened to, and some of them are actually audio text messages, like they're sending audio messages through text. That is a very small percentage, and that's nothing compared to what they've been getting every single day. Warren Hudson's mother, her office has received every single day. Tyler Cox, the kid's personal attorney in Mississippi, to his office every single day. All the families, and they're not just doing it to them. What's really heartbreaking about this is that they're doing it to everyone involved. I made a point yesterday to tell someone that there was a pool party picture that started circulating not long after all this happened. And they were like, see, like he's hanging out in a pool with the boys after, he was left on the island. Well, there were so many different stories going on about this pool party photo, when in reality, the pool party photo was actually a photo from a week before July 4th. And by the way, it was reposted by Ben Crump because he also tried to push the narrative of the pool party photo. One of the kids in that pool party photo has actually reached out to me. His family has also reached out to me and said, they're like, we don't want to get involved. They're terrified. They're like, but we just want you to know that our kid who was in that photo, who has nothing to do with Nolan, didn't even know Nolan, has been targeted so relentlessly that he's had to delete his social media and change his phone number because of the death threats on him.
So we're going to stop it there. So the main play of this playback right here was to also let people know who everyone is being affected by this, right? Like it's not a one-sided thing. This is not just the Wells family being threatened, because even the mom is getting, bad reviews. They're trying to make her lose her job, which was ridiculous in my opinion. But then it's also happening on the other side of the token to people who really had nothing to do with the case. And I think that's the biggest thing as well when we talk about facts and when we talk about do people really want truth, is because we have to understand that without facts and truth, we won't ever stop what's happening here, right? Everybody is now being affected by this in a good or bad way. So what you have to say about that, Rain. And we did pin the link in the chat for anybody who wants to come up. If you would like to come up, we'll give you 2 minutes to speak. We're not here to cut you off, argue with you, debate with you. Only thing we ask is that you be respectful when you come up. But the link is there. We'll give you guys 2 minutes, and you can say whatever you would like to do. So
I'm gonna say this first to answer Friction. Friction, you don't have to download the app. If you go to your browser, even if you're using your phone, go to your browser and paste the link in your browser. You're welcome to come up. So you don't have to download the StreamYard app. That's what this is. Besides the fact that Nolan is gone, another heartbreaking to me is the fact that the mom. And why would you go to the lengths of going over to her employment website and put bad reviews on there for what? The only thing Christine is wanting is to know what happened to her son. And these people out here trying to be vigilantes and making these phone calls, threatening the others, the other young people that were out there. It's nonsense. That doesn't even we just want to know what happened to Nolan. There's no need for these people to be on these folks' phone threatening these people for what? What is that gonna solve? What is it gonna do? The facts of the case are not gonna come out any faster. The end result of the case is not gonna come out any faster. It's going to the grand jury. So what are you trying? You trying to threaten these folks to speak publicly? They can't. It's under even if they wanted to speak to somebody and say, yes, I'm gonna go ahead and tell my part of the story, they got to go to the grand jury. So all these people doing that, they're wasting their breath and their time for what? It's not going to solve any. And eventually, these people are going to want to move away and just build there's going to be so many like post-traumatic stress going on with some of these people that were involved and not involved, and you made them involved and all this and all. You're causing so much more confusion and speculation and just mess, being messy for no. You're doxing these people, putting their address out on the internet. What is that solving? What is it solving? Nothing. We're still waiting to hear what happened. This is not the solution. The solution is not making these phone calls threatening to these people. Even if something comes out later on where they are implicated in this.
Yeah.
It's not this is not the solution. Why are we not focusing on the solution? Being patient, being quiet, and just letting whatever it does, do it. Christine asked in the beginning, Ms. Wansley, Nolan's mother asked in the beginning, if you want to protest, if you want to gather in the name of Nolan, justice for Nolan, do so peacefully. These folks they're going against her wishes. She said, be peaceful with it. That's what Nolan would have wanted. Be peaceful. Don't be calling these people doing this because you just causing more confusion. And not only that, you're probably going to go to jail.
Yeah,
Terroristic threats.
There have been
on
3
you. And I
arrests
think,
already.
they're already arrested some people. So it's yeah. Okay.
So I'm gonna let Rain get to some of these comments again. We do have the link pinned in the chat. I know Friction. I don't know if you heard, or is it Fraction or Friction? Friction. I don't know if you heard Miss Rain, but you can just put it into your Google browser or your Safari browser, and it'll bring you right up without having to download the actual app. So we're gonna start from here.
Friction said the audio. I listened to it before reading any transcript. They unalived him. That's some pretty strong evidence. If these boys were black, they would have been cuffed by now. Olu. We're going to say Olu. If we get it wrong, we apologize. Racism is systemic and impacts their target economically. I may not like a person with black hair, but I don't impact their life and well-being.
I like that analogy.
Friction said, it is about race. You've never been in a whites only crowd. Most whites are racist as if. I know they tell me because I'm a middle-aged white guy. You're wrong. This is about race. I respect your opinion. Friction said the cops are middle-aged white guys. It is about race, guaranteed. Penny said, if you listen to Ben, he is always trying to get a sound bite or a Johnny Cochran catchphrase when he talks. I agree. I agree. Friction said, are you white? Then you don't know what they say when you leave the room. I have lived white my whole life. Random Upright Rose, welcome in. It is a known fact that he wouldn't touch that case? I thought this was getting away from speculation.
Glad you found something in the first 2 seconds of that video. We appreciate you.
Christian said racism is way more prevalent than you imagine. Penny says, so is the new age social justice selling racial tragedy?
So is the new age social justice selling? Little Penny, we might do a series on that starting next week. I'm gonna take this chat and we'll create something off there. I'm gonna start that.
Penny, when you coming up?
Yeah.
Andrew, welcome in, Andrew. He said Black Democrats marry their brothers. Ask Minnesota. Mel said, I personally don't understand the mentality that lets itself get driven to that level. Penny said, you can't stand on principles while breaking them. These voicemails are. Kane said, yes, these Nolan friends did what they did in their government names and have been protected by the entire Mississippi legal structure. Kane said, so we crying for them now. Friction said, I'm not downloading that. Okay, yeah. Just put it in your browser. Penny said, it's not about crying for them. It's about understanding how far from human this really is by using injustice to correct injustice. Pot and kettle.
Pot caught in the kettle black.
Mm-hmm. Janie said, why are you speaking like that?
We couldn't hear you.
Mel said, nailed it, little Penny. Yeah. J. Pot Lover. Racism is a natural human trait connected to tribalism. The only people not afforded the basic trait are the white. Ramona Osborne, welcome in. She said, just find the truth.
I agree with
Ro said, I can't imagine carrying around so much hate.
Yeah.
Clay said, the young woman they're speaking is a microcosm of the inbred racism, bias, and bigotry in Mississippi. Earlier in the convo, she referred to Nolan as a boy and the white friendly as men. She's speaking about me, or she's speaking about the young lady in the.
I don't know. I think she's talking. You talking about Sarah, right, Clay? I don't know. I don't know.
Sarah? She just said yes, but which one?
I don't know.
But was it Sarah or me, Clay?
Ooh, y'all get Rain. Y'all get her. Look at Rain's face.
Because I know. If she said me, I know what she was referring to earlier when I said boy.
Oh.
But I I'm talking about your partner speak. Oh yeah, no, I corrected myself. Yes, I did say boy initially, and then I said no, young men, young adults. I was talking about all of them, including Nolan. Miss Kamei.
Yeah. So just let y'all know, Kane, you're safe. You're safe in Rain's neighborhood. She's oh, okay. I see what you're saying. She said she possibly misspoke, but that's my point. So she's saying it's almost like inherited, like it's almost like second nature. Like even though you're not meaning it that way, with that even coming out first, it can seem like second nature.
Yeah, I would have said white boys.
But you see what I mean? Like, that's what I think that's
yeah.
what she's referencing. Because I'm not going to even lie to you.
But what's in me? Come on, let's have a conversation.
So, but like, because I ain't gonna lie to you. Just the other day, I answered the phone, and a lady did say "boy" to me, and I said, "I'm not a boy, I'm a man. But how can I help you?" So I see what Kalena's saying. Like, it's not a. I see what she's saying. She said, "But you did." I see what she's saying. She's just saying that regardless. Let's say I don't think Rain is racist. Just knowing you, and knowing that you have a biracial son, I'm hoping you're not racist. But with that being said, she said the bias. It's almost like an inherited bias to a certain extent. He said Rain charged up now. Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, everybody entitled to their opinion. We're not here to argue. We, at the town hall, we keep.
Oh yeah.
Kane, you might catch me tonight. I might say something wrong. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I appreciate you holding us accountable for sure. So we're gonna move on. If anybody doesn't want to come up for that topic, we're gonna move on to town hall number 3. I never seen Rain get hot.
Because you're not gonna call. I feel like I was being called a racist. I'm far from it.
He said thunderstorm in the town hall. So we're gonna move on to town hall 3. Charges now filed from the alleged. So this is the attorney speaking to I think this gentleman's Como here. Speaking to Mr. Como. It's the attorneys of some of the young men who are allegedly been involved in the passing of Nolan Wells. These young men are actually going to be now pressing charges for what is it called? What is it called, Rain? When you talking on someone's character, y'all know what I mean.
Being disingenuous?
No, y'all know what I mean. Rain ain't even focused, y'all. I'm gonna figure it out.
No,
I got y'all. I got y'all, man. I got y'all, man. So we're gonna go over here to Como. There you go. Defamation. Thank y'all. See, bro, the chat. Okay. That's why we need a chat, man. That's why we need a chat in the building. Defamation. Thank y'all, man. Y'all know how I be struggling. Defamation. So yes. So and then Thunderstorm said thunderstorm in town hall. Defamation. Thank y'all, man. Thank God. God is so good, boy. He might not be when he wants you, but he always on time. The chat is always on time. So we're gonna move on to town hall topic number 3, and we're gonna listen to I really want y'all to listen to what the attorney says, though. You don't have to agree with what the young men are trying to do by pressing charges, but I want you guys to listen to what the attorney says about like what's currently happening throughout this case.
The official autopsy into Nolan Wells and what it is consistent with, what it is suggestive of. I'll tell you this as a spoiler. It is not definitive. I do not know what happened to Nolan Wells. And do the authorities? Maybe. Maybe they do. Then why aren't they saying, we will discuss that? There's good reason, maybe bad reason, depending on your opinion. But what happened to Nolan Wells demands something it is not getting enough of. Integrity of time. Do you want the right answers? The answer has to be yes. Otherwise, GTFO. Okay? But if you want the right answers, you cannot rush accuracy. You lose accuracy as you increase pressure of time. Do they know more than they are telling you? Absolutely. Are they not telling you for bad reason? Not in my estimation. Do I want to know more than I know? Of course. But that's a fundamental tension, okay? Due process demands the integrity of the process. I love leaks. I love accurate leaks. Why? Because I want to know more. And I do think it helps me as a watchdog on the system. But presenting to a grand jury, it is a secretive proceeding. It is. Just look it up. And I understand now.
This is what I was talking about earlier tonight in the town hall, right? What is a grand jury? It says a grand jury focuses on the preliminary criminal matters only and assesses evidence presented by a prosecutor to determine whether there is a probable cause to believe an individual committed a crime and should be put on trial. If the grand jury determines there is enough evidence, and an indictment will be issued and then against the individual. So again, a grand jury was never a good thing in this situation, because if they can't pinpoint that there are actual people or evidence, or there's enough evidence, which hopefully the autopsy is going to be enough with the what was the reddish on the back of the neck and the head and things like that. Hopefully that we are getting enough, some of the recordings, if they verify those as good recordings or good sources. So hopefully it does go to trial again, because I think the family deserves the trial. If it, she's not going to be able to get her, not her, because he has a father too. They're not going to be able to get their son back. So at least we can do is get it. So yeah, Kane did. You did say that earlier. She said, no, I said that earlier. Yeah, that grand jury was not a good thing. And some of you guys are just meeting myself and Rain tonight. So if you're new here, a lot of this, that's why I'm kind of repeating some things, just because not everybody is familiar with us. But I said this the first day that the case dropped. I said that a grand jury is just another way for the system. If you feel the system is already against them, this was going to make it even worse. So I try to tell people to really educate yourself on systems, the judicial system, everything, court systems, any system that you're going to be put in, you need to educate yourself on those systems, because if you don't, it gives you these ideas that something's going to work out a certain way, and it's not. And that's one of the things I really wanted people to understand, that even if Mississippi lives up to its history, right? Let's just say they live up to their history of what everybody's saying about Mississippi. Mississippi has mastered the system. And we are behind the curve with mastering the system, because our system first starts with emotions. If we never get rid of our emotions in the Black community, we would never be able to move forward. We have to get they don't have emotions. We got to get emotions out of it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with calling the kettle black. The kettle's call the pot kettle, whatever you want to call it. But we have to learn that if somebody knows how to play the system, you need to know how to play the system. It's just how the game works. So I'm saying, appreciate you, Kane. She said, I've listened to you before tonight. That's why I stopped in when I saw you tonight. A different perspective. Thank you. But yeah, so again, I'm one of those people that it might not sound like what you want it to sound like, but I'm a solutions-based person. I'm a solution-based guy. Like I'm trying to give you facts. I'm trying to give how can we move forward. I'm trying to always move the needle. So that's my thought process. Sorry for holding y'all up with that, but that's what the grand jury means.
That this prosecutor in Mississippi does it a little differently than some others do. Why? Well, they don't go to the grand jury with everything. And this prosecutor is more inclusive. So you can't read into it going to the grand jury as if it is suggestive that she believes there may have been a crime. I don't think that that's a fair assumption. We'll explain why in this interview. But I do think at the end of the day, there are real questions about how a young, strong college athlete just died and nobody saw anything, nobody knows anything. That strains credulity. It would shock the conscience. Why? Doesn't make sense. I mean, anybody who's paying attention knows it wasn't 4 people go out, 3 men come back, or 5 go out, 4 come back, whatever the math was, and just happens to be the odd man out, the Black guy who doesn't come back. It's not as simple as that. There were hundreds of people where they went. Somebody saw something. Somebody may have seen everything. And the investigators may well know who that person is. But is it Bart Edmiston? Was Bart on that boat helping or hurting? And how do we know? Did Bart know the young lady that may have been with Nolan Wells? Was he jealous? Those pictures you've seen, are they accurate? Are they fair? That audio you've heard, is there a basis? What does Bart Edmiston say about that audio? What does he say? Now you will know. Here is his counsel, Russell Latino, who is representing Bart Edmiston Jr., 21 years old, knew Nolan Wells, was part of that group of boats and friends that went from the coast of Mississippi out to Horn Island together. That is all true. He knew Nolan Wells. He was part of that group. But which part and what happened? Here's what we know. Counsel, thank you for joining us once again. And just to be clear with the audience, Russ Latino, real last name, Italian, sounds Latino. I thought it was a marketing ploy. He says no, but it works a lot of different ways. Counsel, thank you for taking the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. All it literally means is somebody that speaks Latin, which, as you well know, originated in Rome. So it's a commoner's last name. Also happens to be the word associated with an entire ethnic group. So it's confusing.
It works a lot of different ways. Let's leave it as that. It's adaptable. So before we go broad, let's go narrow. Is there anything new in terms of your client and your pursuits?
No, I mean, look, we're monitoring the things that are being said across social media. I think in the next week, there'll be additional activity around some of the accounts that have sort of driven some of the most, what we believe are egregious narratives around my client. I think the reality is that the internet is fickle. And so at some level, as other people insert themselves or other names come out, the internet has a way of rotating between people. And they're assigning different people culpability based on the day.
So, to review, your client was there that day, was not an intimate, was not part of the group that has been framed as being with, framed meaning pictured with Nolan Wells. He was on the boat. He was heard. He was witnessed assisting his buddies who had a problem with water getting into their boat. They called CETO during that call. There is now a version of the call that seems to depict a chaotic scene happening at the same time as the caller's calm kind of pro forma phone call with CETO, which is an assistance service for boaters, about him taking on water. Your client wound up fixing that problem for them. But first, what has been alleged by these accounts that you are monitoring about the involvement of your client?
Yeah, so let me back up and just clarify when we say the boat, that could be confusing to some people. I mean, there were hundreds of boats that were out near Horn Island that day, hundreds of people that were out on Horn Island that day celebrating the 4th of July. It's a big holiday weekend. Within a sort of confederacy of friends, there were 3 boats that went out. One of them was piloted by my client, who piloted the boat out and then back to his house. At no point was Nolan Wells, the young man who tragically lost his life, on my client's boat. Around 4:30 that afternoon, one of the boats experienced some problems with its bilge pump and started taking on water. One of the individuals on that boat called my client and asked for help. He proceeded to give help, in part by getting on the transom of the boat and helping to remove the plug at the back of the transom of that boat. For people that don't boat, that may not make, that may not be something they understand, but literally they were just opening up a hole so water would drain out, is the short way of saying this. And then my client got back on the boat that he was piloting and towed the other vessel for a short distance, allowing that water to run off.
You guys know I'm always looking for simple things that can help me stay on top of my game, especially when it comes to hydration. And this is a good one. LTV. It's not just another Billy, in quotes, because your client is referred to by multiple different names. Not by you, not by him, but by people on the internet. Sure. If he was not killing Nolan Wells, what else was he doing? This is what we understand. Why would you pull the plug out of a boat? Wouldn't that make it sink? No, depends on the configuration of the hull and the placement of the plug, because sometimes, especially with smaller boats, if they're taking on water, let's say from 20 people drinking beer sitting on the back of it at a party, it can overwhelm a bilge pump that is old, not properly maintained, or has a float switch that gets stuck. And any of those things can happen and you are in a bad position. However, if you know what you're doing, you can pull the plug and then drag the boat so that it goes fast enough that it rises above the level of where the hole is. So instead of allowing water to come in, it allows water to drain out. And then you put the plug back in nice and quick, and you don't have water in the boat anymore, but you do have to address the bilge pump, which you do at a later time. That is an operation that a lot of boaters know, a lot of boaters can do. And that is the involvement that you are saying, counsel, your client had on that boat as it was leaving.
Yeah, that's correct. And the end result.
Are you impressed that I nailed it, by the way? Are you impressed that
I
I nailed
want to know
it?
who you've been talking to. Are you a boater?
I am a Coast Guard captain, certified, and I have been talking to all of these different people and families and people close to the investigation. And a lot of this is new vocabulary, new vernacular. A lot of people see this story very one-dimensional. Mississippi, racist, one black kid, a lot of white kids, the system protecting, and none of this boating stuff makes sense. The boat wasn't sinking. That's a lie to cover a murder. I understand boating differently. I understand investigating differently. I know the operation you're talking about. It is absolutely plausible that this is what was going on. And there are multiple witnesses who say this is exactly what they witnessed going on.
And let's be very clear about the multiple witnesses, because I think there have been some narratives set based on pictures that are not accurate. So very early on, the narrative that was set was we had one picture with Nolan and 3 friends that are white on the back of a boat. And I think a lot of people developed the thought, okay, 4 friends went out on a boat together.
3 came back.
Only 3 came back, and they went to some desolate place. The reality is they went to a place with hundreds of people. There were way more than 4 friends. It was a mixed race group. So it wasn't just that Nolan was the only black friend in the group.
Which explains some of the pictures out there of mostly white party goers with a black guy, and they just assume if it's a black guy, it must be Nolan. He was the only one. The pictures are not accurate. They're not even, some of them are not even from that day. And you're saying that your client says Nolan was not the only black guy.
Well, I don't know that my client is saying that. I think a lot of witnesses are saying that. I think Trayston Shepard, who is black, has said that he was out there. I think Javon Williams, who is black, has said that he was out there as part of that group. And look, I want to be very careful not to name people who haven't already inserted themselves by talking to media, because this is a witch hunt. I mean, at this point, any name that comes out, people assume that person is a new culpable suspect. But both of those gentlemen have chosen to talk about what happened while they were out there and to make the point that Nolan was, in fact, not the only black friend in that group.
Understood.
I say all that to say that there have been narratives set throughout this discussion that are false narratives and that have allowed people to develop a perception of what Horn Island would have looked like or what Nolan would have experienced that is in no way accurate.
Understood. Why you're proffering that, and consistent with what I understand of the investigation. Now, have to say, frustrating. The unknown is very powerful as a narrative device, especially within the true crime space, maybe uniquely so. The investigators, since the initial, what I say, in my opinion, was the wrong way to come.
You muted.
I want to stop it here real quickly. And I know this is going to be a souls-ism, and I know a lot of people are not going to see it the way I'm seeing it. But Penny, you said something very important here, but I also want you to see it from a different standpoint. He said, does it matter how many black people were out there? That doesn't matter. But I want you guys to see how white people are having the conversation. I know people, they're having a conversation. We have to start being okay with having the conversation, and having the conversation where somebody might seem like they're posing a question that pushes against what you're thinking, vice versa, but having the conversation so that it's okay to talk. If I say something wrong, somebody just blurts off that you're a grifter and you're this, and it's like, okay, well, you got all that out of just us talking for 2 seconds. Like, do you want to have the full conversation, or do you not? Like, do you want me to look a certain way because you don't feel the same way? They are just having a conversation, and I had to point this out with Nancy Grace, because there were a lot of people talking about Nancy Grace. Oh, she the truth. And I said, no, Nancy Grace is someone who just is very theatrical, and she puts information out in front of you, but she asks and poses a lot of questions. If y'all go back and watch our town hall from last week, I showed 2 different interviews where Nancy Grace said 2 different separate things, depending on who she was sitting in front of. And I think that's what tonight we're talking about. Do people really want truth? These gentlemen they're just talking facts right now. Like, they just educated. Like, if you never rode a boat before, and I think, is it Melanie or Mel, how you say her name?
Mel Gillum.
Mel Gillum said the same. Like, people just educating you on things that have happened, it will change the way that you're now thinking about situations, right? Because if I never rode a boat and I'm thinking, well, if they sinking, how they moving?
Right.
But everybody's now telling me though you can do two things can be done at once if a boat is sinking and it's taking on water. You see what I mean? Like they're having a dialogue that allows you to get more factual information so that you can now process this in a different manner and not be leaning on your own understanding of how you think things look or how you think things will be done or how do you look. The only question I will pose, and this is the only one I will pose. Somebody, like Rain says it all the time, somebody had to see something.
Somebody.
That's
I've been
like
saying that since day one.
That's like the only factual thing that I can say. Like somebody had to see something. Like that's the only thing I can really lean on when I think about this. Like, okay, but when it comes to like everything else, you're learning new information as the case continues to build itself up. You know what I mean? So, and I think it's very important that we continue to take these facts and let's think of it in a different manner. Because if y'all were here at the beginning of our show tonight, Emmanuel said something very important. The mom was seeking answers at the very beginning. She didn't get them, so it led her to Benjamin Crump.
Yeah.
So if the mother would have just got answers, we probably wouldn't even be talking about this right now. It would probably be like Emmanuel said, it would have just been a local Mississippi case and we'll be moving forward. So now we have to, guys, they're going to a grand jury. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, content creators and platforms are the new media. People are no longer going to watch ABC and Good Morning America and stuff. So that's why I want to provide information. Because if I don't provide you facts and factual information, I'm being a bad steward of information. If I come on here and be emotional and push you towards one route, I'm being a horrible information passer or however you want. I'm disseminating information in a very bad manner. And that's what we try to do differently on our town halls. Again, that's why you guys don't see us covering this every day of the week, because I think it's easier to compile multiple sources of information and then bring it to you guys so that we can now bring more factual information. And we appreciate everybody who does appreciate the content. And then we also appreciate those who are pushing back against it, right? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, we're speaking off of what we're being given. So
yeah.
I'm gonna let Rain, you open to reading some of these comments.
Oh yeah.
Did you have anything on that though before we read the comments?
No, it was interesting to learn because I didn't know anything about a bilge pump or however you say it and about them. I think a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the boat is sinking," is that they were just taking on like a small amount of water, at that time because the bilge pump wasn't working. So with Kumo explaining it the way he did, I'm thankful that he did because somebody who doesn't boat doesn't really know, how that works. And I didn't know, I thought initially that Bart was on the boat with them between the phone call, the audio that came out. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that Bart was on his own boat until listening to Kumo and his lawyer here. So it's a lot of, we even when facts come out, until we get the actual facts, that we don't really know, because I thought Bart was on the boat with them. So Bart was on his own boat. See, we didn't a lot of people didn't know that, so it's and I appreciate everything that you said too about these content creators, or us as content creators. We're the new media. We're putting these things out there because your local news isn't covering it the way, and it isn't talking about it the way we're talking about it. If they're even talking about it at all. So yeah. Well, that's it. We can get to the comments.
Let's see.
Then I said they poisoned the well and everything coming from it. It will seem tainted, unfortunately. Mel said, I agree, Clene. Soul said we have to start taking. I had to think about it. I was like, wait, the Ross. I said, oh, that's us. Soul said we have to start taking over the system. Look at Westmore, Maryland, lowest murder rate ever. Random Upright Rose said, at this point, moving differently away from emotion is about survival, and nor just when things go sideways. The setup is always there waiting for us. We have to get ahead of it mentally.
I agree with that one, Random. I hope you still here, dog. We appreciate you. Let's see here.
Amari says, so who sold his organs is the real question, because who in God's name is connected with that? Mel said, I own a boat, removing the plug and towing the boat draws out the water. Thank you. Yeah. Penny said, is that official that they stole or they can't find his organs? I will say last I known was that Mississippi kept, when he was transported from Mississippi to DC, and this is, like I said, the last I known, from Mississippi to DC, Mississippi ended up keeping some of them. I'm not even going to spew out which ones, because I don't know for sure which ones, to do some more testing, some more, what do you call it? Yeah, testing to see what was going on with them. It's late, y'all.
You don't have to ask me now.
Of course, we see everybody coming in, so make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all subscribe, whatever channel you're on, Souls of Thoughts, the Raw Society Network, and even if you're on Facebook, make sure you hit that like button and make sure you share it with somebody. And also on Facebook, hit that follow button. We're growing. Our community is growing on Facebook rapidly. It's taking off, and we appreciate everybody who comes in every day and watches our reels and whatnot over there on that side as well.
Yeah, and I want to send a quick shout out to Lashiba Need and also Lori Grudos, who liked it on Facebook. And of course, Valerie was still here with us. I think we appreciate her as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's see here.
Penny said, I know they removed them for the autopsy. Yeah, to do the different testing and whatnot. Amari said, well, the autopsy claims he's missing organs, but I'm not trying to disrupt. Yeah, so initially, when DC received the body, DC noted that some of those organs were not there. That's when it was said too. Now, this is Rain's understanding. This is not, I'm not coming from, I've gotten this from several different places, is that the reason why the organs did not go, all of the organs did not go with him to DC is because they were doing extra testing down in Mississippi. So Penny said, go ahead.
We did that one, yeah.
Okay. Amari said, removing and reporting is two different things. As a private autopsy from Colin, the NFL player. Yes. Clay says, Souls, Westmore just got there, so the numbers are not his yet, but you are correct that we must take some control. Gregory Falk, welcome in. He said they have cameras everywhere.
That is true. Now, when Tatum went there, they was able to show an aerial view and everything.
Tim, God bless you. Mel said lung, stomach, the front of the throat, and I believe the discolored area where what was removed for clinical dissection and chemical analysis. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah, we need y'all there every night.
We need the chat. We need the chat.
All right, Tim.
God bless you, Tim. Clay said Nancy is being ostracized by her previous public, so she seems to be backing off of her hardline perspective on the Wells case.
Yeah, they'll do that, Clay. They'll do that now. She got to protect that bag now.
Marlissa Suggs, welcome in on Facebook. We're glad you joined us on Facebook. Make sure you hit that like button over there. Said, but he was the only black kid left behind. Whatever his so-called white friends say, they were wrong either way. Right isn't on their side. That's all I can say until the whole truth comes out.
At least you're open to hearing the whole truth, though.
Kaiser. Sorry if I got it wrong. Feelings are too much involved in justice in all fronts for everyone.
That's true. Well, stay here because I keep my emotions out of it. So you can stay here.
Clay said Nancy Grace's followers seem to now have a problem with the support she was giving the Wells.
Yeah. Clay, they call her double talking. I'll have to show you. You got to go watch our old one. We called her double talking. She was saying one thing. She said one thing on Straight Shooter with Stephen A. and another thing on her own platform.
Clay said, wonder why, because she was up talking. Penny said, where is the dad, though? Why is he so quiet?
Oh,
You and
hey,
Souls have the
Penny,
same sentiment.
Penny, I have a whole segment I wanted to talk about with the men not speaking up.
Clay said, I am old enough to remember when Nancy came to fame in the John Benet Ramsey case. Yeah.
That's very true.
Mm-hmm. Bob Bell says, that means you're being a biased journalist. You're trying to be non-biased is what you're saying.
Okay, I like your double entendre there. He's saying you're pretty much being biased regardless if you're trying to be non-biased.
Okay.
Respect.
Yeah. Amari said, it's a story that has been told many times with a different twist, so it's understandable how emotions can be involved, but it's just the how and the why. This doesn't happen to anyone else.
I feel you.
Penny said, respect to the craft souls.
Try, man. I try.
Just trolling. Bart went aboard with Warren to help plane the boat.
He being foolish. We got to. We appreciate you though.
Clay said, time is not going to be a friend to the Wells. Historically, time is used against folks.
Yeah, Clay, we actually covered this on Tuesday on our leaked show. Talking about what happened with the family that Ben Crump helped out, that they said they no longer can get in touch with him. It was the same thing about the time span, and they still never got back their independent autopsy that was done. So you're definitely right.
Penny said race is less of a factor, but when we gonna start the conversation of the effects of financial influence in this situation?
Big facts. Penny, we could do it. Penny, we want you to come up. We're gonna hit you up. Don't worry about it.
You need to come on up, Penny. You don't need nothing but a cell phone. That's all you need. Amari said, I liked and shared, and I've seen y'all before. All right, then, Amari.
Hey, we appreciate all y'all who chose to stay tonight. Souls, I can't say for Rain, but Souls would like to know what made you stay tonight.
Yeah, let us know where y'all watching from, too.
Because as a creator as well, I'm all about the chat. Y'all create the show. We have ideas, but y'all run the show. So what made you stay tonight? What made you wanted to share? Because we are live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday. So it is sometimes on the week or on Sundays too.
On Sundays, yeah.
So y'all let us know what y'all want to hear about. We are okay with hearing or talking about topics y'all enjoy as well. It ain't just on about what we want to create. Thank you, Penny, in the chat too for the chat stuff.
Penny said, appreciate you, Amari. Penny said, dollar does go a long way to make mouths hush and things go missing. I'm just saying. Chronically Funny said, Justin for Nolan Wells. Jesse Landry, those boys are innocent. We appreciate your perspective. Tania Thomas, welcome in, Tania. She said that dad is heartbroken.
I feel you. But Tiana, I want to say this, or Tian, I hope we say it right. Tania. Even though that father is heartbroken, the man should have enough strength just like that mother. And I really would encourage more men to stand up and speak more. Just my opinion.
Crawford said they never did find that poor girl.
Yeah.
Chronically Funny said Nolan was murdered and those boys are guilty. Crawford said the little girl would be my age today. Tiana said Nolan was definitely murdered. Chronically Funny said, Jesse Landry, you're a racism denier. Denier? Is that denier?
I guess so.
Mr. Inc. Welcome in. He said, now is just us, the public, giving Jackson count a certain amount of time before we act a D fool in Mississippi. Us public is trying to be respectful.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Mel said, you're a good man. Being a Christian, a calm demeanor, and an informed mind is for many a stabilizing factor to chaotic situations.
Thank you.
I agree. I agree. Chronically Funny said, Jesse,
All right, we'll let y'all have that out in the chat.
In the chat. Crawford said, yeah, as soon as he couldn't push the race narrative, he left them high and dry.
Yeah.
Mr. Ink said, every creator has done a wonderful, excellent job for Nolan Wells. Keep it up. I don't give a D about no defamation to character. Do it. The recordings don't lie.
Appreciate you, big dog. Appreciate you. Be more in the building. B-Mo in the building. What my boy? Yeah,
Go
my boy.
Ravens.
My boy Deron from B-Mo, man. Y'all probably know him, Deron Frierson, man. That's my guy from B-Mo.
Y'all ready for football? Baltimore.
Yeah, B-More, man. The DMV, baby.
Mr. Ink said they never rule out homicide or accidental death in Black cases because they know it screws up for the insurance policies for Black folks. So white folks block it and say no foul play. Just facts.
I'm going to have to look that up. You know, I'm a reader, so I'm going to look that up.
Mm-hmm. Kane said reading and commenting on chats.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you like us. Oh, okay. Is that why you saying you stayed? Yeah, let us know. See, I knew it. See, no, it's pronounced Tanya. Sorry, Tanya.
Sorry, Tanya.
Sorry. Names are important. Names are important, so I like to get people's names right.
Prophet said he isn't the real father.
He's in the role of a father. I don't care if you stepdaddy, baby daddy. Let's get it.
Penny said stand for something or fall for anything. Kane said, well, women tend to be the mouthpiece.
Kane, we gotta change it.
Kane said, Dan Beer. Denia.
Probably something from Baltimore, I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
So
Rose said, can't sleep and stumbled across y'all on YouTube. Stay for the info and soothing voices. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Crawford said Nolan was not unalived. I need to stop saying the word. Anyone thinks them kids call for a tow while talking about a unaliving is just dumb. Okay, Crawford, we appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Kane said yes. Oh,
she said pronunciation of denier. Kane, I'm from Louisiana, so I hey, y'all forgive me right now. I'm from the second dumbest state in America, Louisiana. I'm sorry. I got my degrees, but they just gave them to me because I was in the military. Tanya said hearts. She said prayerfully Crump will petition to change the trial venue. So we'll see. We will see, man. We will see. So, guys, that was our town hall number 3 topic. And now we're going to be moving on to our closer of the night. She said, no. Yeah, my bad. My bad, dog. I promise I went to college and everything. I didn't have to do a lot of talking. Yeah, so we're going to go on to our closer of the night, man. Our closer of the night is actually going to come from a platform that's going to talk a little bit about what we are trying to convey tonight. So this comes from the Native Land Pod, and they're going to talk a lot about just when the story moves faster than the truth. And I thought this would be a great way to close out the show. They actually have a very credible source, Black lady that came from ABC, I think, or NBC News. But they're going to introduce her, and I just wanted you guys to be able to hear this before the end of the night. So here's the final closer, why the truth is so important.
Lens and the importance of verification. After almost a month, there are still a lot of unanswered questions. So it's important that we keep talking about this story, but it's also important how it's talked about. So watch this clip from TMZ, which I think also highlights how fragmented information gathering has become and why the media landscape is shifting so quickly, which I'll explain.
If it's all true that he stayed behind on the island, was drinking, people saw him.
Now listen to how YouTuber Trent Out Loud pushes back on that.
We know when that picture was taken.
We can align the video with the distress call, and he wasn't on that boat.
Yeah, but Harvey, how do you know?
So the questions that Trent raises are really important, at the very least, just to try to verify the unfounded claims that this outlet was making amid an ongoing investigation that has the potential to influence a jury pool, a grand jury pool. This exchange highlights how fragmented information gathering has become. And mind you, this is TMZ making this claim, which traditionally with celebrity stories has become the authority in many ways, but not on a law enforcement investigation. And you have Trent Out Loud acting almost as a de facto journalist in this case, pushing back for the audience. And it shows how the media landscape is shifting so rapidly. Part of it is because we used to trust the outlets that had these huge platforms and believed that they did their due diligence before passing along information. But now we've seen multiple times, and in this case of Nolan Wells coverage specifically, we've seen in real time the bias and what seems to be a lack of fact checking and real reporting. And that's why Trent asking these questions, whether he got definitive answers or not, makes a difference here. He's literally using media literacy to ask about the credibility, about the validity of those claims in real time. And that allows anyone watching to realize, hey, wait, that thing that Harvey states as a fact actually isn't one after all. And the more you realize how media can be used for manipulation, the better you can consume information. I'm Janae Norman. I used to do the news. Now I just report the facts and uncomfortable truths.
Welcome home, y'all. This is our mini pod. We are thrilled to be joined today by a brilliant journalist, formerly with ABC. And boy, do they miss her now, because she is kicking things off right and hot on the internet, holding big media accountable for the narratives that they are sharing overall, but particularly right now in the Nolan Wells case. You all know I've seen that video, and we are thrilled to welcome Janae Norman on Native Land Pod. Welcome home, y'all.
Hey, thanks you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I am a fan. First time. What do they say?
I appreciate it.
Yeah, for a long time listener, first time caller. So I'm glad to be in your presence for sure.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Janae.
So let's talk about what you're like seeing in this Nolan Wells case, the Harvey Levin clip that you kind of go through and say, here are all of the challenges. Talk about why it's so problematic to have mainstream media talking about the case in the ways in which they are.
Well, it's because they're talking about it before there has been a full investigation, and because they were coming to the conversation as if they knew what happened. That's the problem, that journalists came to this story thinking that they already knew what happened. They knew it beginning to end, and weren't there as journalists, weren't there looking to find information, to verify information that they were getting. And that's what continues to happen on these big platforms. So in that particular case of what Harvey was sharing, pointing to video that he got from former Officer Tatum, thankfully in that case, we had Trent Out Loud, this YouTuber who was basically acting as a journalist and pushing back on those claims, because the other people that Harvey was talking to weren't doing that. And that's why typically, Angela, what was happening in that clip with Harvey at first before Trent came on, that's what should happen in a newsroom. Not what should happen on a platform that is going out to lots of people. You can be talking about the information that you're getting, but before it goes out to all of these people, there should be verification. There should be some vetting of this information. And that doesn't seem to be what happened. But we were able to have Trent there pushing back to say, well, Harvey, how do we know when this video came? When did Officer Tatum provide you the metadata to be able to make these claims so substantially on this platform? And then to have Harvey at the end say, well, you know, anything's possible. So then you didn't know. So then why were you saying it as if you did? That's the problem with so many of these platforms.
Why do you think that keeps happening? Because it's not just happening with Harvey, it's happening quite a bit. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge in the case of the missing Black child, it's happening over and over again. Why do you think that is, Janae?
I would start with the question, Angela, why doesn't it happen with a missing white woman? Right? Because we see when it happens and we know when it doesn't happen. We know the stories that the media will go to, and they've got open ears, and we know who they are offering the suspicion to and who they are offering the benefit of the doubt to. And in this case, it's flipped the way that it normally would be for a missing white woman. And why is that? Well, we know what it is.
How do I educate my mama and her chat group on how to consume, what to consume? Because they are more worried and praying about this boy and his family. But I'd be damned if every single day they don't get some news off Facebook or somewhere else. Right. I mean, how do we educate people about how to consume news? I mean, we always talk about creators and warn them about what to put out, but should we consume it all and just have our third eye? I mean, how do we do that?
Well, first off, we are so grateful for all of the praying aunties, grandmas, and mamas out there. But yeah, when it comes to where we're getting our news, and this is the thing, because we're looking around and looking at the traditional news outlets that we have thought were the places to get the verified information. And we're realizing, hey, you're not doing your job the way that you once were, or the way that we thought you once were. So where do we go? That's sort of what we're still figuring it out. We have to find the pockets. We have to find the areas where information is being vetted, where people are using their critical thinking skills, where people are pushing back and asking the questions and being skeptical. That's what we need a little bit more of. We need more skepticism. When you hear something, to think, one, does that sound right? And if it doesn't, to go look more, to check where you are getting your information from. And yes, it's hard to say where you're getting it from, but we've still got these outlets out there, and you can still get the information from traditional news outlets, but then you have to have enough wherewithal in your mind to realize what's not being told here, what perspective are they sharing it from, what voices are they including, who are they not including, why might they not be including those voices, and be able to ask those questions to understand what information you're getting and what information you're not getting.
Muted.
Thank you, ma'am. She did a beautiful. I'm gonna stop right there. She did a beautiful job articulating that, and that's something that we are trying to do here at the Raw Society Network in a whole, but also on No Middleman, also on what y'all are seeing tonight, Same Soil, Different Roots. That's been my MO since I started content creation. And Rain knows me anyway. Like, that's always been my MO. It's like, how do we give credible information out to people who are in dire need of the actual information? And the only way I figured out to do that is that not saying everybody got to be this way, but I as Souls has to be so emotionally intelligent and emotionally mature enough to allow people to say what they want to say, and I go do the work on the back end.
Yeah.
Every town hall meeting, we have showed y'all from different platforms, different people, different concepts, different thought processes. We are not going to the same platform every week giving you the same information, because if I listen to everyone who thought like me, we'll be in an echo chamber every night. If we didn't want you guys, I want you guys to push back. I want us to agree to disagree. That's okay. That's healthy, because when you disagree, that's how change comes about. Without no disagreement, there's no pressure. Pressure makes diamonds, guys. And we're trying to make sure that we can create something that lasts way longer than the big media, right? These platforms were created so that people could come to us and get something different than they're getting on TV, something they're getting different from all their friends on Facebook. And that's what we're here to do. And I think it's very important, guys, that we understand that, hey, we might not always agree, but that doesn't mean we don't have the same vision in mind. Just because for me, race doesn't pop up on every subject doesn't mean that I don't think racism doesn't exist. Just because I don't have the racism narrative doesn't mean that I don't feel that possibly there could have been some foul play. That's not it. I don't want to be a person bringing you bad information because I'm putting my emotions first and not my logic. We have to have more logic, guys. Like, I tell people this all the time. For those who don't know, I retired after 20 years in the Air Force, in the military, and that system that I was trying to talk to Fraction about, I experienced a lot of racism within that system. I know it exists. But the thing that Souls did was pass every PT test, pass every promotional test, and put more and more stripes on myself. Because when I did that, I got into levels of power that no one could take it away. And if you don't want to do the work that you have to do to get into those seats, it's okay. But don't be the same person who's complaining because you didn't do the work to get in those seats. Don't blame the world. Don't blame the person in front of you. You only can blame yourself. I ranked up and made rank so that the young Black people that I supervise could come to me and know that they can look at someone who's in a position that they want to be in, but also somebody who can give them some help, some guidance, another way to move through the system. Because we couldn't change the system. The system's not going to change. But I use this terminology all the time, and some people don't agree with it. You probably can't ever win the system, but you can manipulate the system. And the way to manipulate the system is getting yourself in rooms and seats that you normally aren't supposed to be in. I said supposed to in air quotes. Doesn't mean that it don't exist. I'm just telling you that's what some people think. So if y'all don't get anything else out of tonight, if you never come back again, understand that anytime you come over here, you're going to get emotionless, fact-based information. Period. We're not going to talk about this every day of the week because I don't think that's fair to myself. I don't think that's fair to y'all. I'm not here to get clicks and that's not what I'm here for. Because I could cover this all day and every day and bring a bunch of mental health point of views from it, all types of stuff. That's just not what I'm here for. And so at the end of the day, I want to say I appreciate you guys who stayed tonight, 2 hours in. I appreciate all you who stayed. I appreciate everybody telling us why they stayed. But I want you guys to actually come over and watch us on Mondays and Tuesdays as well at No Middleman. We have done so many series, things about how to protect our youth, about fathers, about mental health, about grooming. Like, we do so many positive things. We talk about so many things, y'all, that I'm telling you, you'll gain so much information that you can take forward. And that's how you positively affect your community. You can't positively affect your community if you're listening to the same rhetoric every day from somebody who's just saying the things that you already know. Period. You know what I mean? No, yeah, y'all ain't have to ban Jesse.
I did.
Okay, y'all keep. Hey, I enjoy the hate because you stand around this long watching, you hearing something you enjoy. So, but that's my little spiel before I'll let you talk, Rain, and then we'll get to the comments if you want to end with anything.
The only thing I really have is what I've said since day one. I just want closure for the Wells family, the Wansley family, his family, and I want to be able to. I want the other side as well to be free from being scared. They're probably so scared about what's going on right now, and I'm not. It's just the public needs to stop inputting doing things. They need to stop making these phone calls to the kids. They need to stop I keep calling them kids because they're young adults, okay? They need to stop calling these young adults and their families making threats because they're not, and I think they're idle threats. They're not going to do anything. And the police is already on it. They're already arrested people. So stop doing it. And Christine, she didn't deserve anybody calling her job, doxing her job, and making those the ratings on her employment website go down for what? She's just a mother who would want what any mother wants, and that's to know how her son left this earth. That's it. There's no reason for anybody to be doing that. So it's my prayer at the end of all this is for the family to know how Nolan passed, for whoever who knows any information to have enough courage and conviction, I've said this before, within themselves to come forward and say what happened if they haven't already done so. See, we don't, the general public don't know a lot. We don't know what's going on with the grand jury. We don't know what was in the autopsy from Mississippi. We don't know. And until we know these facts, like Soul said, until we know these facts, then we can't just keep coming up with our own conclusions, keep coming up with our own narratives. So I will hope that the public, us general people out here who don't have nothing even to do with this, except for forming our own opinions on this, to just be patient and let everything unfold as is. I know there's a lot of talking points. I know people feel uneasy about the whole situation. A lot of people got their emotions in it. Absolutely. It is what it is. We see what it is, but just let Mississippi, let the grand jury, let the FBI, whomever is got their hands in on the justice system, got their hands in on, let them do what they need to do. So at the very end of all of this, there's a concrete answer. One, of how Nolan really passed, and two, what actually happened out there. Because I, in my heart, know somebody knows something. There's too many people out there for somebody not to know it, not necessarily exactly what happened, but knowing, even if it's a piece of information that could give some kind of conclusion to what happened to Nolan, the reason why he really passed. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get to those comments. We appreciate you too, James. God bless y'all, man. God bless y'all people who come in here with the negativity. We really enjoy y'all, man. Y'all keep it up, man. Y'all gonna have high blood pressure, cholesterol. I just hope y'all live to see 80, man. I appreciate you guys, man. Y'all gonna learn you can't get under my skin. I am super petty. So appreciate the hate.
I've been on the other end of it. I've been on the other end of it, y'all.
Yeah, like I'm super petty. Like you can't bother me, man. I'm telling you. I sleep well at night knowing who I am as a man. So I'm gonna let Rain go through these comments for us, and then we're gonna get y'all the closer and we're gonna get y'all out of here, man. We appreciate y'all, man. Y'all don't understand. This is a blessing that y'all stayed. Some of y'all are 2 in the morning. I'm 1 in the morning where I am. So I really, really appreciate you guys for staying here and listening to this information. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Mandy said, how do you feel that the parents claiming all this white hate, but the parents use the all-white funeral home? And how do you reconcile Don Lemon crying white supremacy while sleeping with a white?
So that was a multiple question. You said, how do you feel that the parents are I don't think they're claiming white hate. I mean, I think some of these things are probably very valid. I wouldn't say they're claiming. Again, we don't have all the facts, but we know people have been threatened on both ends of the token. So we know those things are facts. You said the parents using an all-white funeral home. It's not all white, but it is majority white. Next, you said, how do you reconcile Dunn Lemon crying white supremacy while sleeping with a white man? That's his prerogative, man. I don't think it's really a question for us. I think it's a question for the people who ran with his narrative as he was questioning a local gentleman from Mississippi. So.
Kane said 2 things Trump said earlier in his political career I have found to be true. 1, the mainstream media is trash. They never report what they should, and they are biased as well. And 2, the system is rigged.
Yes, ma'am. I definitely agree.
Kane said the media has been hijacked for real now.
For sure. And you know why they hijacked it, Kane? Because 90% of media runs off of emotions. If they can pull your heartstrings, they'll pull you in so quickly.
Wesley said the mother is only half black.
Okay.
Tanya said not all white people are racist, but most are.
Thank you, Tanya.
Penny said it helps to ask what motive the person has for presenting the info.
Very true. Very true.
Kane said you give credible information out by giving equal information, informing the public too. I think your problem will be when you tend to present that opposite viewpoint more to make your point.
Heard. Yeah, I'm trying to balance that out, Kane. I'm getting better at it. Yeah, I definitely understand. And I think sometimes I get to a point where you got to read the room too to know if people need to hear more of the other view. So, but we're getting there. We appreciate you. Hopefully you come back and you can continue to give your information as well, man. Like I tell people, I'm open to hear new points of view, and I appreciate everybody, man, who takes the time. I really have gratitude for y'all.
Kane said, thank you for your service.
Thank you. My last 10 years with eating, Kane, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was chilling.
Penny said, Kane, fair point.
Yeah. Penny keep me on point too now. Penny, my point man. He keep me on point.
Mel said, welcome home, sir. My father and brother served. Father was 20-year retired.
Tell him thank you.
Mm-hmm. Kane said, I used to work too at the Hoffman building in VA.
Oh, okay. I know where that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I know what that is. Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, with the Enlisted Officer Review Board and the Contentious Review Board in the 80s. Okay, Kane.
That's why I told her it was a lot of corruption you seen in that. I know you've seen a lot.
Kane said, we want exposure and closure.
Yeah.
She said, nobody has the patience for the chronic white fear right now when they are in terror in the community every day. Penny said, how long is too long to get a jury?
Penny, I think we're going to have to dictate that. Again, guys, for those who are listening tonight, I say this all the time about our platforms. We are the voice, guys. That jury will move as fast as we try to get it to move. But we're going to have to be able to strategically put our focus in the right area. Don't let them sway you with some new news or new audio. Like, nah, bro, we need win the grand jury. Like, we have to keep talking about it.
James Strange has said, just like everything else, you people are just absolutely ridiculous.
We can't give you no screen time, but we appreciate you.
Clay said, I'm just frustrated, attorney, as I never got my law degree, but I studied law and law enforcement over 40 years.
Oh, go back and get it. Go back and get it. I don't know if you seen what I said earlier. Yeah, go get it, Clay, for real. Because I don't know if you seen what I said. Like, that's my ultimate goal, is to get into some type of seat. Before I pass and leave this earth, I do want to be in a seat of some Congress, mayor, governor, or something. I want to be in a seat, because I think my balance will go far. So
Shane said, it's being highly scrutinized by the public. The police will take a while for their investigation so it can be seen as thorough and not rushed.
Okay, welcome in too.
I am Levins. The parents have never mentioned race.
He was talking about the one we read earlier.
Clay said they have circled the wagons of protection, so not much is going to leak from that camp. They are too busy protecting the power structure from possible backlash from their earlier attempts to cover up.
There's some truth there.
Mel said, gotta face it, Mandy. There are some seriously stupid people on both sides of the coin.
It is. But the hard thing about that is, it's hard because, again, I'm telling y'all, anyone who's giving you information solely focused on one area, you need to be very wary of that. You have to be very wary. If they don't have no balance, you got to be careful.
Jalen said, which is funny because most black people are racist too.
Jalen Monroe. Is this the Jalen Monroe from Alabama?
Panay said, the 1% blood rule, son.
Oh, yeah. She laughing at him.
Jalen said, white women like this one on the stream here is one of the biggest problems we have in this country. Hopefully we can solve that problem one day. I'm sorry you feel that way.
Jada, she told you no.
Panay said, how long? Hopefully not long, MLK.
That is, yeah, she said, okay. That went over your head, right?
It did.
Okay.
You tell me on the back end.
Okay. He's so good.
Mel said, we can all thank Obama for the media circus that drives good folks like you to succeed. Mr. Obama signed the Smith-Munt Modernization Act legalizing propaganda. I have to look that up. Can you start it?
I don't know how to take that, Mel. You gotta make me know. You let me know if that's a good thing. The way I'm reading it, I don't know.
Purple Groovy. It is more powerful to speak up than to silently resent.
Okay. Thank you for joining too.
Clay said, run, son, run.
Yeah. I am. That's my initial goal was to go back home to my hometown, but I'm gonna let that be what it is. But yeah, I am gonna try to start at a grassroots level. Clay, you probably know him, Antoine Brown. I actually helped Wes Moore on his first campaign with Antoine Brown, and Antoine Brown now has a seat in Prince George County. So I have some experience with being boots on the ground. So that is my goal very soon.
President Souls. Smurf said they are all corrupt, allegedly. White House start. 4 presidents, GN. Good morning, good night. And they laughing. She said, really? She said the Bible opens up The Bible says open rebuke is better than secret love.
Mm.
She said she remembers. So
Yeah. So
Mel said it's a good thing for you, bad for the country. I never would have found y'all. So howdy from a crazy old Okie.
we appreciate it. Yeah, we
Yeah.
appreciate y'all, man. We appreciate y'all. Like I said, hopefully y'all come back for No Middleman on Monday and Tuesday nights, because we do a lot of like series and educational. We do get petty now. We talk about stuff that's trending with relationships and celebrities, but like for the most part, we do try to even take those topics and make them into a bigger topic. So we appreciate everybody. Like Penny said, make sure you like and subscribe. And Penny, man, I miss your Discord, but I did go back on a rewatch. You can ask Rain. I put comments in the chat, so I rewatched.
He did, Penny. He rewatched it. He gave me some pointers on the icebreaker. So.
Icebreaker was too long.
And y'all, I have my own channel too as well.
Yes.
Soft Rain. It's in the chat if y'all want to go check it out. I put some good content out here and there.
Clane, Penny's one of our moderators. Penny has been a faithful follower for a while now. And he's been someone who's just been rocking with the team, man. He's been rocking with the team. I like Penny because Penny provides a lot of pushback too in a very respectful manner. And I think it brings for healthy conversation. But yeah, he been rocking with us, Clane. I can't really tell you who he is because he hasn't came up yet. But from what I'm seeing, he's a good guy. She said Penny Hardaway. She said, so is you co-host, Rain?
Yeah. Of No Middleman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Souls is the mastermind behind all these shows. I show up. Yeah, I show up.
Do you guys plug? You got plug? You got plug? We do, Clane, we do have one more member that makes up the No Middleman, which is Uncle Plug at Uncle Plug TV. I don't know if you ran by his content. But yes, she said excellent. Yeah. We're gonna put Plug in there too. We actually have a great team that makes up the Raw Society Network. Yeah, he ain't part of this program, Penny, of the Same Soil, Different Roots. This a whole different, we the Raw Society Network, so we have different shows. But me and Plug will be live tomorrow for our 1181 pressure plays. We got a sports show we do on Sunday nights, and we'll be doing play-by-play for live football games this year. Yeah, that's Uncle Plug right there at Uncle Plug TV. Y'all make sure he was in the chat earlier too. So y'all make sure y'all shout him out. Best barber in the DFW. If you need your haircut, best barber in the DFW, guarantee. My boy ain't nothing better than the Plug. He said, "No, I'm old. You guys capture my attention." Oh, appreciate it. That is a bless. Like so seriously.
Yeah.
So seriously, because man, we really appreciate it. So I'm gonna let Rain close it out, and then we're gonna play our song again, and then we're gonna give y'all a good night, man.
Yeah, we appreciate all y'all coming up and being active in the chat tonight. Made for a real good conversation. So tonight you heard different voices, different opinions, different interpretations, different emotions. And that's exactly why this conversation matters, because here at Same Soil, Different Roots was never supposed to be same soil, same opinion. We come from different places, see the same information differently, disagree with each other, and still sit at the same table searching for the truth. But after everything we discussed tonight, there's something we cannot afford to forget. This is about Nolan Wells, not who's winning on social media, not which creator has the biggest platform, not which political side gets proven right, not black versus white, and not who broke the story first. This is about Nolan, a human being whose family deserves answers. And when a story becomes this emotional, there's a temptation to fill every unanswered question with whatever explanation makes the most sense to us. But an unanswered question is still an unanswered question. Suspicion isn't evidence. A theory is not a fact. A viral post isn't confirmation. And repeating something 1,000 times doesn't make it true. At the same time, asking questions doesn't make someone insensitive. And challenging a narrative doesn't mean you're against justice. Sometimes the most responsible thing we can say is, we don't know yet. Because truth requires patience. And if tomorrow brings evidence that challenges something we said tonight, then we should have enough integrity to come right back here and say, hey, we were wrong. That's not weakness, that's accountability. So, as town hall number 3 comes to an end, don't leave here asking, hey, did my side win? Ask yourself, what did I learn? What can I verify? What am I assuming? And most importantly, if the truth ultimately contradicts what I believe right now, am I willing to accept it? Because justice for Nolan shouldn't require us to manufacture certainty where uncertainty still exists. It requires us to keep asking questions, keep demanding credible information, and keep separating evidence from emotion. And never allow the noise surrounding Nolan Wells to become louder than the search for what actually happened to him. We are same soil, different roots, different backgrounds, different perspectives, but the truth doesn't need a team. It needs people courageous enough to follow the facts wherever they lead. So until next time, don't ask whether the truth agrees with you. Ask yourself one final question. Do we really want the truth?
Do we really want truth? Everybody screaming truth, but truth don't pick a side. Truth don't care about your feelings. Truth don't need a narrative, so the question ain't, can we handle the truth? The question is, do we really want it? Do we really want truth? Or a story that fits? Do we really want proof? Or somebody to convict? Everybody got a source, everybody got a side, but when emotions lead the way, tell me, where do facts hide? Do we really want truth? Tell me what you know. Not what somebody said, not what somebody posted. If the evidence changes, can your opinion change too? Cause truth don't belong to me, and truth don't belong to you. Nolan's name in the headlines, everybody got a theory. One clear becomes a verdict when nobody's seeing clearly. Race into the room, now the temperature changed. Same evidence on the table, but the story rearranged. One source says this, another source says that. Screenshots hit the timeline and suddenly they're facts. Everybody wants justice, understand the emotion, but justice without evidence is just another commotion. Slow down, what do we know? What's confirmed? What's assumed? Who's providing information? And what happens when it's wrong? Because asking hard questions doesn't mean you don't care. Sometimes caring about the truth means you're willing to go there. Do we really want truth? Or a story that fits? Do we really want proof? Or somebody to convict? Everybody got a source, everybody got a side. When emotions lead the way, tell me, where do facts hide? Tonight, don't bring me your side, bring me your source. Don't tell me what you heard, tell me what you can prove. And if tomorrow's evidence proves what you believe today was wrong, will you change your mind? Same soil, different roots, different perspectives. Same pursuit before we choose a side. Before we decide who's wrong or right, let's find the facts. Because maybe the problem isn't that truth is hidden. Maybe we're afraid of what happens when we finally find it. Find it, find it, find it, find it, find it. Yeah. Deep-rooted conversations, real talk, real roots, real us, souls. Soft rain, no middleman between the truth. I can see it in your eyes, you got it. Pain got your heart moving cautious. Different worlds with the same kind of scars here. Different roads, but somehow we still crossed it. Mad cause the world never listened right. Mad cause your truth always turned.